we've got about 250 people in the business. In terms of how we recruit, it's I guess a sort of classic sort of interview process that kind of people come through, and do all three of us see people know. We, for key roles and senior people, each one of us will make sure we're there at the final stage and try and do that for as many people as possible. But now, the guys, Steve, who runs the supply chain, is more than capable of kind of running that process. I mean, what's really important to us at Innocent is kind of our sort of values that define how we behave and what we look for and how we think about things. And when we kind of ask the team about all sorts of different metrics, the thing that always scores highest is, I believe in the values of the business, and they're that we're entrepreneurial, that we're commercial, that we're natural, that we're generous, and that people are completely bought into those, and therefore we look for those in the people we recruit, and that, I guess, ensures the kind of the consistency, even if all three of us aren't interviewing at every stage. Yeah, so I guess in terms of the first one, what was our pitch to the retailer? Well, back 10 years ago, the most expensive kind of soft drink on the shelf was about £1.10, £1.20, and we were selling our smoothies for £1.80. And so the argument to the retailer was, you won't make a bigger percent margin on these because with a smoothie you've got to pay so much money for the fruit that's in the bottle. If you're doing something that's a fizzy drink, it's sugar and water, it's pretty cheap, they can give you a good margin. If you're doing a smoothie, you've had to spend so much on the fruit, there's not a lot of profit there to divide up. But because of the price point, the absolute cash pence per bottle will be higher. So you'll make a smaller percent margin, but an absolute cash pence. So that was the pitch to the retailer. So for everybody who buys a smoothie rather than a bottle of water or a can of Coke, you're going to make greater pence cash. And then, the media, the second bit. So, if you've got, it's kind of 230 grand to get your business off the ground, you're not going to be able to engage in a media campaign because you start talking hundreds of thousands or millions just to kind of do sort of one burst on that. So for us, it was all about PR. It was about being really nice to journalists, sending them lots of free drinks, answering all their questions, investing time in them, telling them our story and what we wanted to do. And hopefully, as a result of that, get them to write stuff about us. And at the end of the day, if you're a journalist, you are, a good, easy story makes for a good week, and we did our very best to kind of provide that. And as a result, got great articles in things like the Evening Standard and stuff. And that really helped us get established. Because as soon as you can actually go to a shopkeeper and say, look, we're the people in the newspaper who are doing this, you've got some credibility, and that gave us real momentum. So it was all about PR. So, we launched in April, and by August we had our first sort of big bit in the newspaper. So, which was a lucky break. The Evening Standard looking for entrepreneurial businesses. I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's got to come from the individual leading that business and their the environment in which they've kind of been brought up in and the environment in which they're kind of operating. Whether you can put kind of regulatory or tax frameworks around it, I don't know. But I think the great thing now is that there is that increasing part of the way we are and society thinks, where it wasn't 20 years ago. But I would love. I guess it's part of what we try and do. I mean, Rich spends a lot of his, my business partner, spends a lot of his time doing talks and talking about what we're doing. And I guess we hope, therefore, in some way, we're having an impact in terms of saying, look, you can be successful and you can marry it, with other aspects as well. So our first big retailer was Sainsbury's. So as soon as we launched and started, we kind of went and knocked on Sainsbury's door, and they said, yeah, looks interesting, really nice. Guys, go out and prove yourself, get a bit of a track record, show us that it sells, and then come and speak to us. And so it was about after 2 years that we went back and said, look, we're selling in these places, it's doing quite well. Do you want to give us a pop? And they put us in, 60 of their 1,000 stores. Yeah, it was all about delicatessens and sandwich shops and all the small independent outlets who can make the decision there and then, and and kind of list you. I think all three of us would say we learnt a huge amount from the companies we worked in terms of how to think about stuff and how to even just basic things about how a company operates and the stuff you have to have in place to really look after all the team who work in the business. So I think there was a lot that we gained for that. As to how much of the formula that's been, I don't know, but it was I'm certainly very grateful that I did those 3 years first rather than leaping straight into it, just because it kind of gave me something to to learn from and benchmark from. But ultimately, if you have the idea and the opportunities there, then that's the time to go for it, I think.